Today we're going to be talking about top 5 NFL sleeper draft picks. If you like my videos, subscribe for more. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers by the end of the year. I don't know if we can do that, but if we can, that'd be great. And here's my top 5 list. Number 5 on my list, I got the 6'6" quarterback out of Oregon, Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert ended the season with a 66.8 completion percentage. He had 3,471 yards and had 32 touchdowns compared to his 6 interceptions. This is great to have on a team, especially because you need a quarterback, and that's what the Chargers needed. He's a tall dude who can scramble every now and then, and the only thing that the Chargers are going to have to work on is the way he throws the football. The way he throws the football can be questioning, but I don't think it's a problem, as we have quarterbacks like in the league like Patrick Mahomes who throw the football weird. But if he can get a better way to throw the football or get it out of his hands, that'd be great. And I got this guy being a top 2 quarterback in the draft class. I think he's going to be a great quarterback and have a great career. Hopefully the Chargers can take advantage of this kid's talents. I think they will. They have great weapons on the offensive and defensive side for him to work with. And he's going to be learning from veteran quarterback Tyrod Taylor. And I think this is going to be good for him and the organization, because this worked out for Patrick Mahomes when he was learning behind Alex Smith. And I'm excited to see what this kid can do for the organization and the city of Los Angeles. I think he's going to be a great quarterback in the NFL, and he's going to have to prove he can do it because he has all the weapons to do it. So we're going to have to wait and see what Justin Herbert can do. Number 4 on my list, I got the running back from Georgia, DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift has some really good numbers. For the receiving end, he has 216 receiving yards, 1 touchdown, and only just 24 receptions. And for his rushing yards, he had 1,218 and 7 touchdowns. He had 3 fumbles, but that's not that much, and he had a great season, helping Georgia get a 12-2 record, which is 4th place, which is really good. That's really good. 4th out of all the college football teams. And they had to play some really good teams, like the number 1 seed LSU, the number 2 seed Clemson, and the other only team who had a better record than them was Ohio State. As you can see, this guy's a really good underrated running back, having a bunch of rushing yards, having a good amount of touchdowns, and not that much fumbles. And this guy plays for a really good team, the Detroit Lions, who are filled on receivers. They have a quarterback, a running back, and their defense has improved. I'm excited to see what this team can do, and I feel like they can become the next San Francisco 49ers. Picking up players that fit their scheme like Jamie Collins, Danny Shelton, and I'm excited to see what this team can do, especially because of what they got with their 3rd pick in the draft. They got Ohio State cornerback Jeffrey Okudah, and I feel like that Jeff Okudah has been getting slept on, and they also got rid of Darius Slay, who's been keeping up a lot of their cap room, and also they got rid of Snacks Harris, who's getting older and was very slow this year and not as athletic as he was because he's getting older. And this team's looking like a top 10 defense with all their cornerbacks, Desmond Trufant, Justin Coleman, Jeffrey Okudah. On defense, they got Jamie Collins and Danny Shelton, like I said. And they got Trey Flowers. And now on the offensive side, they have DeAndre Swift. And they also have Kerryon Johnson still. They have Matt Stafford. They have Kenny Galladay, Marvin Jones Jr., Danny Amendola. This team's looking really good, especially because they improved their O-line in the draft. And I'm excited to see what this team can do because it's faster than it was last year on the defensive side and offensive side. Number 3 on my list, I got Isaiah Simmons to the Arizona Cardinals. This is a really underrated pick for the Cardinals. I think this is huge for them, especially because they just got DeAndre Hopkins. They drafted Kyler Murray last year, who had a really good rookie season. And now they have a guy in Isaiah Simmons who can take over the game and play many positions. This guy can be an elite defender in the league. Like I said, I think this guy can be an elite defender. He can play many positions. He had 81 tackles, 8 sacks, 3 interceptions, and 42 yards. And this team's looking very solid on the offensive side and the defensive side of the ball. They have DeAndre Hopkins. They have veteran Larry Fitzgerald. They have Kenyon Drake. They have Kyler Murray. They have Patrick Peterson on the defensive side of the ball. And they got rid of David Johnson's big contract. So this team can still make some big moves in the future if it means going through the draft or in free agency. Or they can still make some big blockbuster trades like they did this year, trading for DeAndre Hopkins. I'm excited to see what Kyler Murray can do with an elite wide receiver and DeAndre Hopkins. And I'm excited to see what Larry Fitzgerald can do without being double teamed. Is he still going to be elite, or could he even be better than he was last year, which I believe he could. I think adding Isaiah Simmons is going to be a big move. I think this guy's going to elevate this defense to a whole new level in the future, and I think they could possibly win a Super Bowl in the future with this guy. Next up on my list, I have Jerry Jeudy from Alabama. He had a great season, 77 receptions, 1,163 yards, and 10 touchdowns. This is a great pickup for the Denver Broncos because he's a great route runner, he's good at getting extra yards, and this is going to be a good weapon for Drew Lock in the future, or even right away. And now this Broncos team's looking like legit contenders with Drew Lock, who had a great year last year, not playing the whole season. And who knows, they could have made the playoffs if they used him for like the whole season. They had Justin Simmons on defense, who's very underrated. They have Von Miller. This team's looking very good, and I won't be surprised if this team makes the playoffs because this team has a really good run game. They have Melvin Gordon. They just added in free agency. They have Philip Lindsay. This team's looking like legit contenders in the future, and they're looking like a legit playoff team right now. So I think the NFL should be scared of the Denver Broncos and Jerry Jeudy. And this is perfect for the Denver Broncos because they really needed a receiver. So now they have Courtland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy, which is looking like a pretty decent passing game as long as Jerry Jeudy fully develops to his full potential. And I think this is going to be a great team in the future to watch with their explosive players, their veterans, and the future of Drew Lock. And this team's looking really good. They added now a new rookie in Jerry Jeudy. They have a bunch of good veterans. They have a really good culture they're building up in Denver. And I think this is going to be a really good team to watch in the future. Number 1 on my list, I have Jalen Hurts from Oklahoma. In my opinion, I feel like Philadelphia Eagles fans are kind of getting upset about this for no reason. You cannot have a quarterback in Carson Wentz who gets hurt every season and can barely even play in the playoffs as your starting quarterback. I mean, he had that one good season where he was an MVP candidate, and now everyone thinks he's great. I hate to say it, but I think this guy, Carson Wentz, is going to end up like RG3, and I think Jalen Hurts is going to take his spot. Now, this guy had a really good college season. He's explosive, a really good scrambler, but he can also throw the football. He had 3,851 passing yards, 32 passing touchdowns, but had 8 interceptions, which isn't that bad knowing the amount of yards he's thrown, which is really good in my opinion for a scrambling quarterback. He can do multiple things. This guy had 1,298 rushing yards, 20 rushing touchdowns. He had 8 fumbles, but he was sacked 23 times. Now, I mean, there's so many excuses Carson Wentz is getting. Like, these receivers aren't that good, which, hey, they could be better, but hey, I mean, he has better receivers than most quarterbacks in the league. He has better receivers than the Redskins, the Jets, the Patriots, the Bengals, because the Bengals don't have A.J. Green. But when they did, they were explosive. But this year, they'll have A.J. Green, which I guess doesn't count for this year, but I'm saying last year. And they have better receivers than the Titans, the Jags, the Giants, and you could even argue the Bears. And I mean, like, there's no excuses for this guy. He has a great offensive line. He has a top 5 tight end. And when Deshaun Jackson's healthy, he can easily be a top 15 receiver in the league. I mean, there's no excuses for this guy. And I think Jalen Hurts is going to take this guy's spot. I mean, this guy's more the offer. He's younger. He's an explosive scrambler. He can throw the ball. This guy had a great college season. He has so much potential. I mean, this is way more than Carson Wentz can offer. Because Carson Wentz gets injured almost every year. And at a point, you got to get sick of it. He sold them last year. He got hurt in the playoff game against the Seahawks, where they could have won that game. And you can argue Carson Wentz didn't have help because a lot of his teammates got hurt. But guess what? He was one of the teammates who got hurt. He got hurt in the middle of the playoffs. That is just not acceptable. He had Nick Foles win the Super Bowl for him. Can you imagine how good this team could do if they had an actual quarterback who can last the season without getting hurt every year? I mean, this guy has way more to offer, and he's not going to have a big contract coming up anytime soon, like Carson Wentz will. And like I said, he had a phenomenal college season, and now this league is favoriting scrambling quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, etc. I think this guy would fit perfectly with this Eagles team. He would have Zach Ertz to throw to, Deshaun Jackson, and I think that's enough for a scrambling quarterback like him. And they don't have a bad run game. I mean, this team can do pretty good. And with all those injuries, a lot of players who didn't get much playing time showed up, and now they have more, or they realize they have more talent than they actually do. And I'm excited to see this Eagles team with Jalen Hurts, and I think he could learn a lot from Carson Wentz. But I mean, he can take over games when Wentz gets hurt. And next season, or the year after that, I think he can be a great starting quarterback. I mean, if they're not going to give him like the starting quarterback spot for like another 2 years, that's acceptable. But I'm just saying, you're going to be missing out. Like, I mean, he could be learning from Wentz for like a year, but definitely not 2. I mean, you would be missing out of 2 years of Jalen Hurts' young career. I mean, I think this Eagles team can do good in the future, and I'm excited to see what they can do with Jalen Hurts as their new quarterback. Because I think Jalen Hurts will do good with the weapons you give him. Thanks for watching. This is my NFL Top 5 Sleeper Draft Picks.